In this lesson, we will explore one of the most powerful tools in Python, the for loop. A for loop allows you to iterate over a sequence, such as a list, tuple, or string, enabling you to execute a block of code multiple times efficiently. Understanding how to use for loops is essential for any budding programmer, as they're fundamental to automating repetitive tasks and processing collections of data. Don't worry if this feels new at first. Now we're on understanding iteration. Before diving into for loops, it's important to grasp the concept of iteration. Iteration refers to the process of repeating a set of instructions until a specified condition is met. In programming, loops are a common way to achieve iteration. The for loop in Python is particularly useful because it eliminates the need for manual indexing, making your code cleaner and easier to read. Now, basic syntax of a for loop. The basic syntax of a for loop in Python is as follows. I'll let you read the examples on screen rather than reading every line aloud. Here, variable is a placeholder that takes on the value of each item in the sequence one at a time. The sequence can be a list, a tuple, a string, or any other iterable object. The indented block of code following the colon is executed for each item in the sequence. Let's move on to using for loops with lists. Let's look at an example of using a for loop to iterate over a list. Consider the following list of fruits. See the example on this slide. Pause if you want to study the details. To print each fruit in the list, you can use a for loop like this. The samples on screen walk through this step. Take a moment to read through them. When you run this code, it will output. I'll let you read the examples on screen rather than reading every line aloud. See the example on this slide. Pause if you want to study the details. This section covers using for loops with strings. For loops can also iterate over strings, treating each character as an element in a sequence. Here's an example. The samples on screen walk through this step. Take a moment to read through them. To print each character of the string, I'll let you read the examples on screen rather than reading every line aloud. The output will be, see the example on this slide. Pause if you want to study the details. The samples on screen walk through this step. Take a moment to read through them. Now, using for loops with the range function. The range function is often used with for loops to generate a sequence of numbers. This can be particularly useful when you want to repeat an action a specific number of times. The syntax for range is, I'll let you read the examples on screen rather than reading every line aloud. Where start is the first number, stop is the number to stop before, and step is the increment, default is 1. For example, see the example on this slide. Pause if you want to study the details. This will output. The samples on screen walk through this step. Take a moment to read through them. I'll let you read the examples on screen rather than reading every line aloud. In this lesson, we covered the following key points. First, for loops allow for iteration over sequences in Python. Also, the basic syntax of a for loop is for variable and sequence. Finally, for loops can be used to iterate over lists, strings, and generated sequences using range. Now put what you've learned into practice. First, write a for loop that prints each number in the list numbers equals 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Also, create a for loop that iterates over the string greeting equals hello and prints each character. Also, use a for loop and range to print the even numbers from 0 to 10. Finally, modify the previous loop to print the square of each even number instead.